Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a serious question to ask you. And that is this: who is in charge of the federal government? Is it the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump? Or maybe those at Congress, those on the Senate and those in the House, are they the ones calling the shots? Or maybe it's those in the judicial branch, those at the Supreme Court? Or is someone or something else calling those shots? Yesterday, I received an email from Steve Quayle, a good friend of mine, and he's over at stevequayle.com if you guys want to check him out. But he sent me an email that had a link, a hyperlink inside of it. Well, I clicked on this link, and this is what it took me to. I'm going to toss it up on the screen. This is HalTurnerRadioshow.com, and it's a report that's titled, "I'm Wondering Who is Actually Running Our Federal Government." And he goes on to say, it is not President Trump. After reading over the article, I have to say I found myself asking the very same question. Now, before I get into this report and kind of delve into it a little more, I want to say this. I voted for Trump, and I do support Trump. I do not support every single thing he does. Obviously, we have disagreements, but for the most part, I do believe he's one of the only people in the federal government standing against the corruption that is surrounding him, kind of like JFK in JFK's time. But this is the question that I have to ask. How much power does President Trump really have? And are they allowing him to make the shots that he's supposed to be making and make the calls that he's supposed to be making? Because in all honesty, they're shutting him down. And many from, Congress to the FBI to the CIA to the DOJ aren't even obeying the orders that they're given by the executive office. So let me give you a few examples that I actually found from that Hal Turner article. And I'm just going to read a few from the article. But here's number one. Earlier this year, President Trump ordered the Joint Chiefs to get our military out of Syria by October. This was their deadline. And he said, hey, don't even send me an email or a message or anything. Just we're done in October. Mysteriously, 2 days after he made that statement, what happens in Syria? Well, a false flag chemical attack on the people. Lo and behold, we're still in Syria even today. Point number two, when Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Andrew McCabe all got busted taking advantage of their government position in order to push their own political agenda. They all got busted doing that. And when Trump brought this up to Congress, it took a very long time to get anything done with these people. They literally dragged their feet. That's another example. Point number three. Trump's own appointees, both Sessions and Rosenstein, refused to cooperate with Congress. And when Trump finally got the subpoena to get Rosenstein to, answer to Congress, Congress turned around and says, oh, that's before the midterm elections. That's too soon. Cancel the subpoena with, Rosenstein, and we'll get to him after midterm elections. And then guess what? After midterm elections, nothing ever happened, and Rosenstein was not called back like they said they would call him back. They're playing games. This is 100% not following a direct order from the executive office. Point number four, Trump orders the declassification of Peter Strzok and Lisa Page's text messages, right? He ordered that, and that the FBI and DOJ paperwork for FISA applications. These documents have never been declassified or released. I guess an order from the president doesn't matter. Point number five here. Let's go to the migrant caravan, right? Trump orders troops to be sent to the border. He orders it once, nothing happens. He orders it twice, nothing happens. It takes 3 direct orders from the President of the United States until they actually go down to the border. So again, I ask, who is really in charge of America? You see, the deep state is doing whatever they want, whenever they want, and they're breaking orders from the very highest office. Point number 6. Trump forms the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity to put voter fraud into check. And guess what happens? This went on for little less than 8 months. Why? Well, because not one state, not one, this is how corrupt they are, agreed to participate. No state participated and wanted to see if corruption was going on in the election process. Interesting. Here's another one, number 7. DOJ attorneys who are part of Trump's DOJ attorneys, right? They're under his directive, told James Comey when he was in front of Congress not to answer any of their congressional questions. Don't answer Congress? The DOJ is acting bigger than Congress, saying we don't have to answer to them. Interesting. So basically, Trump calls for that to get Comey in front, and so they're going against a direct order by the president and congressional offices. Point number 8. It gets interesting, doesn't it? But point number 8. The House Oversight Committee brings in 2 whistleblowers to testify about the 6,000 some odd documents that exposed corruption within the Clinton Foundation, right? They have all these documents on the Clinton Foundation, and they turn them over to the FBI and IRS, outlining all their illegal activities. However, they straight up declined to give the documents to Congress. So the FBI, the IRS, the DOJ obviously put themselves above Congress and above the executive office by doing so. Point number 9, John Huber, the prosecutor assigned by Jeff Sessions to look into the Clinton Foundation fraud. This is the prosecutor appointed by Sessions, who is corrupt, right? He was supposed to testify before Congress about all the corruptions, and guess what? He didn't show up. It seems more like the deep state is running things from behind the scenes. And I have an eerie feeling that President Trump could be fighting the very same people and the very same corruption that JFK tried to expose, but it was assassinated because he was going to expose it. Check out this quote from JFK. "There's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child." That's a big statement. Enslave us. "And before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose it." The same people that were ruining the country during JFK's time, threatening to enslave you and I, could be the same people that President Trump is battling today at the highest office. So much so that the deep state is ignoring direct orders from the executive office and from Congress. Think of what Google did in their recent hearing with Google. Google goes up, the CEO, Sundar Pichai, goes up, and he lies and perjures himself before Congress. Where's the actions from Congress against these corruptions being committed at a congressional level? Why isn't someone going to jail here over that level of corruption against our executive and congressional offices? I'm just curious. On a good note, there are some swamp creatures that have been, drained by the president. Here's a list of all 16 of those names so far, and this comes from the same article I showed you a moment ago over at Hal Turner Radio, and I encourage you go there and read the whole article in its entirety. It's got some great stuff in it. But some of those swamp creatures, as you can see, include Comey, McCabe, Baker, Strzok, Page, Campbell, and Sessions. And, it might have taken a while to get rid of some of them, but at least some are gone and he's making headway. But again, Trump is like a lone wolf standing against all this mass corruption. And he's fighting something in which JFK tried to expose years ago. But since no other president after JFK tried to expose that, years and years and years went by. And those deep state departments have allowed themselves to grow into massive monsters, so much so that they think they are above the law. Interesting, nonetheless. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please don't forget to check out my partner. This thing is still 25% off using the code HAVEN20, but it's patriotflashlight.com. This is one of the best flashlights ever, which is why I absolutely love it. It's great for your car or great to have around your house, but it's got a seatbelt. You can break your seatbelt if you need to, or your window. As you can see, it's pretty bright here. It's got a compass on the back. It's also got lights here that can flash in different ways. It's kind of cool, but it also has a siren. Kind of cool, and I like to use that at home anyway, but it is also charged by USB as well as solar powered. So great flashlight there by patriotflashlight.com. You can check it out in the description box below and use the code HAVEN25 to get that discount. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning into my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe here and subscribe to my backup channel. I also have it in the description box below. They're both under Lisa Haven. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.